So welcome everybody. Good to see all your faces popping on. Hello, Deborah. Good to see you. Good to see you, Paula, Brandy, Diane, Kanti, Angel, Jamie, Livka, Tracy, maybe another angel. We've got lots of angels showing up today for this. Jackie, good to see your face. Thanks for coming on. Maya, Christine. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jen Cormier, and I am a grief guide. And I've got about 20 years of experience in the healing arts. My background is really in healing through the body. So I have an arts background. I was a professional contemporary modern dancer, wedding officiant, licensed massage therapist in 3 states. I've studied traditional Thai massage in Thailand and traditional North American body work from elders here on this Turtle Island. I've got 3 different trainings in different yoga lineages. So I'm a certified yoga teacher 3 times over, yoga therapeutics, and I've taught Pilates for about 20 years, helping people get out of pain in their bodies. And oftentimes that pain, I realize now, is emotionally connected, right, to oftentimes grief. So now that I am explicitly working with grief, looking backwards, I go, oh, wow, that's a lot of grief I was working with. You know, there's a lot of folks who have pain in their bodies that doctors cannot explain, right? Lower back pain. How many people have lower back pain that's just sort of unexplainable, right? So our emotional body and our physical body and our spiritual body, they are all layered and woven together, right? We cannot separate them like we think we can, right? In the Western world, we're like, our mind is up here and our heart is right here and our body is someplace else, right? They are all woven together. So I know that to be true. So that's the lens. I just wanted to share that because that is the lens that I am coming to you with. I'm coming to you with my expertise in the physical body, and I have found that that is essential when we are working with loss and grief to include the physical body in our process of transformational healing. That it is important to share our story and do all the cognitive things we need to do, right, with therapists or bereavement groups or however we share our story, because being heard and seen and understood is very important. And we can't forget about the rest of us, right? We can't forget about our body. We can't forget about our heart and our spirit. So really, when we are moving through our process of grief, we need to bring all of ourselves to the table, right? That is what I believe. So I want to share with you that I came to this work gratitude of my father, Gil Cormier. I'm saying Cormier now, but I grew up saying Cormier, so I go back and forth. You can't really mispronounce my name, but this is my dad. I love to show a picture of him before I teach any class or any master class. I have candles lit in front of me. I have an ancestor altar with my dad and my aunt, my grandfathers, my grandmother. So I just like to call in all of the ancestors, and I'm sure all of you have many an ancestor that might come and hang out with you. So just by remembering them, right? Anyone who's not here in physical form, I consider an ancestor, you know? So I've got a cat, George, who lived for 19 years. He's my, you know, kind of cat ancestor. So they don't have to be super old people, right? They could be anyone's an ancestor. So this is my dad. And I love to just call him in and say, hey, dad, come hang out with me. I'm going to teach something. Will you help me out? And this is a picture taken in June. This was on the summer solstice weekend, June 2012. And he died on November 15th, 2012. So I just wanted to bring my dad, Gil, to the table. And just curious, well, I'll just tell you, I won't ramble on, but I just want to let you know that he's really been nudging me over the last years. He's been gone for almost 10 years. And slowly, I've been entering the world of grief work, right? So I moved into doing some hospice volunteer training and conscious dying green burial home funeral training. And now I find myself working mostly with grief, with the exception of a few weddings here and there that have kind of come back. And my dad, he went on a healing journey. His last 3 years of his life, he was diagnosed with a stage 4 prostate cancer. And when he died, I had this story, I had this dream that he would be healed and cured from his cancer. And that all of the tools that I brought to him, you know, as a massage therapist, as a yoga therapist, all of the healing modalities that I had, I moved home to be with him. And I thought that we were going to have this amazing story as a father-daughter team, and he would be healed and he would write a book. And that's what we would do, right, for the rest of our lives. And that didn't happen. He died. And I was shocked. Hi, is that your grandchild, Paula? Hi, how are you? Do you want to unmute so that you can say hi? We got to bring in the kids. Like when the kids show up, we got to say hi because
she just has to know on the looks as though she feels when I'm on Zoom.
Yes, she's like, oh, you're on Zoom. I better hop on the camera. There are people in there. Good to see you. Tell us your name again.
Bye. Amaya.
Amaya. Hi, Amaya. Good to see you. I have teachers that say, you know, when there's a circle of people gathering, you know, if there are no elders and no kids, it's not real. So we want to always welcome in the kids and we want to welcome in the elders to make it real. So thank you for bringing Amaya to the table so we could make it real today. Yeah, she's always welcome. She's always welcome.
She makes a point of showing up whether she's invited or not.
Yes,
but it's always a pleasure.
Invited. She isn't invited for sure. I have a 6-year-old son and he shows up sometimes, you know, in the background walking through, you know, needing a popsicle or something. So, so it didn't happen like I wanted, right? I wanted my dad to have a miracle. And I was going to be like his wing woman, you know, his co-pilot in his healing. And, you know, it's kind of, now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of, it's a little bit egotistical, right? But it was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to heal. We're going to find total healing. And one of my mentors said, you're not going to always be able to cure, but you can always heal. So my dad did not cure his cancer. He lived for 3 years when they gave him 3 months. And he ended up really feeling healing, and he died feeling whole because he did a lot of work the last 3 years of his life. But he did not cure his cancer and he died at 59. And when he died, I felt completely lost as to what to do. I had zero cultural, spiritual, familial background as to what to do with a dying person, a dead person, and then what to do with my grief. I had no idea, right? And I called up one of my mentors and I said, you know, if I was Catholic, which I'm not, my dad grew up Catholic, but he didn't raise me Catholic, I would be doing a rosary, right? There'd be something, Hail Mary or something I would be doing, I don't know. If I was Jewish, wouldn't people be coming over the house for 7 days or something? But I'm not Jewish. If I was Tibetan, I'd be reading the Book of the Dead. I don't know what to do. So I'm telling you this because they told me something that gave me lots of peace. They said, what you're going to do is you're going to take grief by the hand. And you're going to walk with your grief through every season, every milestone, every holiday. And you're going to let grief be your teacher. And then at the end of the year, we'll hold this soul releasing ceremony for you and your mom. And when they told me that, I felt my body physically relax because I was like, oh my gosh, I have time. Because how I had grown up, my dad, you know, he died, then the guys come with the bag and then he goes to the funeral home and we need to make a prayer card and do all the things in a week and a half. And then there's a memorial. And then, you know, you get what, a month or something, and then you go back to work and that's how it works. But when I heard I had a year, I was like, oh, I've never heard that before. Like I could take a year and I could walk with my grief. So So that gave me some peace, and I really took that to heart. And I let grief, because I was a yoga practitioner, so I had a yoga practice I did every morning. I lit a candle. I practiced, right? I had a spiritual practice. So I brought grief in. And at first I couldn't do much because I was really heavy. I was like in a fetal pose, super liquid lead in my body. I couldn't really do much that first season of grief, right? I was super immobile, super heavy, couldn't even take the dog out. You know, can any of you relate to that heaviness after a loss at the beginning? Like, I'm not functioning very well. Yes, there's a lot of hands, right? Like, anybody relate to that sense of heaviness? It's like for me, it felt like liquid lead. Yeah, maybe type in the chat. Tell me like what when you imagine yourself like right after a loss. Some of you might be fresh after a loss, some of you it might have been a while, but what did it feel like in your body? If you relate to that heaviness, I've had people tell me it feels like a bag of bricks that I'm dragging around. Tightness in my chest, says Dan. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, we're going to work with that chest tightness today. Thank you for sharing that. Is that something filled with sludge, says Maya Christine. Mushy, mushy, says Meg. Held down, stuck with a weight I can't lift, says Brandy. Paula says constant noise in my head. Thank you, Paula. Yeah, thank you for these. So disorientation. Yeah, feeling disoriented. Thank you, Diane. So after a loss, this is what happens, and it hits everybody a little differently, right? Not everyone feels the same way, but all of this is normal. I want to say that to you now. All of it is normal. So I really took this advice to heart. I started off not being able to do much. Then I started getting into nature, really getting outside and just taking the dog for walks. We had a rescue dog. She had to run. So she got me outside into the woods. Then I started lighting a candle and giving myself a daily practice. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today, how we can really support ourselves by making a tiny commitment every day to some kind of practice. And this is what I work with my clients with. This is what I work the people in my Transform Your Grief program. This is what we work on is like, okay, what am I going to do right now in my life? What can I commit to that's a little bit more supportive than what I'm doing already? But not too much, right? Because you just said all these things, disorientation, I'm stuck, there's a weight, I can't lift it off, I'm mushy, I'm filled with sludge. So you're probably not going to be like, great, I'm going to go find a yoga studio and do 90 minutes of yoga every day and grab my yoga mat. That's not going to work, right? So I'm not, as a grief guide, I'm not going to be like, well, you should start doing yoga. It's like, that's too much. But we can do a little tiny bit every day. So that's what this masterclass is about. I want you to walk away with 3 tiny bits. Little Deborah started calling them spiritual snacks. I love that. Thank you, Deborah, for coining that term. 3 spiritual snacks. No matter what your religious background, no matter what your spiritual beliefs are, spiritual meaning just connecting to spirit, connecting to your own spirit in a practiced, consistent way. Okay, so that's what ritual is. We can talk about the word ritual without any of the sort of woo-woo connotations, religious, spiritual connotations. Ritual, like brushing your teeth, right, is your dental hygiene ritual. So my spiritual ritual this morning, I lit my candle. I do that every morning. I light a candle. I set a timer. Sometimes I have 30 minutes, so my timer gets set for 30 minutes. Today I had 11. Because I went to sleep way too late last night and my sleep is really important to me. So I had 11 minutes and that's what I did. And I did my practice. And then I moved into my day. So I want to give you 3 things that if that is unfamiliar to you, if you resonate with what I offer today, you are invited to take it with you and to try it out on your own and let it be your own little scientific experiment and see if it works for you. And if it works, keep it and do it. And if it doesn't, throw it away and try something else, right? So I'm curious, just by a show of hands, and if you're off camera, you can give the little thumbs emoji. I'm curious how many of you wake up and do something that you would consider a spiritual practice. Give me a thumbs up or a hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 hands, 9, 1 thumbs up. So a little over half of you are giving me a thumbs up. Okay. So for those of you that don't have any practice in the morning, what you would consider a spiritual practice, do you feel like your routine in the morning supports you? Or do you feel like it doesn't really support the beginning of your day? I'm curious, you can type in the chat and let me know how you start your day is like the seed for the rest of the day. Okay, that's like the beginning of your whole day, right? And this day is the seed for tomorrow, is the seed for the week, is the seed for the rest of your life, right? So we have a lot of power in the very first little bit of our day. So it does when I do it. Yeah, so that's the trick. That's the trick, is doing it. So it's really helpful to have some kind of accountability to some community or someone to say to yourself first, okay, I'm doing this. I'm speaking it aloud that I'm doing this, and then following through, right? So Brandy's saying, when I do it, it works. When I don't, it doesn't, right? So, so Dan's been working at home for 11 years. Okay, great. So Dan, let us know in the morning when you work from home, do you go right into your screens and right into your work? And does that work for you? Or do you have like a little like, okay, I get my cup of coffee, right? So getting a cup of coffee and relaxing, that's a ritual, right? Setting the coffee thing. Okay, you know, I have a friend who's a single mom and she's just like, if she doesn't, that's her ritual, like the coffee timer set. That's how she wakes up in the morning, not to an alarm, to the aroma of coffee. She has her coffee before her son wakes up. And that is her spiritual practice right now, is enjoying her morning cup of coffee in silence. So that could be a spiritual practice if you set it, right? If you do it with intention, with clarity. Dan says, I have a routine at night and every morning. Fantastic. I do a walk in the morning, says Jackie. It is a non-negotiable. So tell us what that walk does for you and why it's non-negotiable. I would love to hear that. Writing in my dream journal is the minimum that I do every day, and it frees my mind to get ready for the day, says Livka. Thank you. How many of you track your dreams? I write in my dream journal every morning. That's the very first thing that I do. Oh, we got a lot of dreamers in here. At least a half a dozen dreamers. I had an amazing dream last night. I might have time to share with you. I don't know if we'll have time today, but yes, every time spiritual practice, saying goodnight to my wife while hugging her prayer pillow. Thank you, Dan. That is a beautiful ritual. Yep. She passed 6 months ago. Oh, thank you for showing up here, Dan, for yourself. Yeah. Thanks for bringing her onto the call. What was her name? Debbie. Thanks for presencing Debbie with us today. Do you have a photo right there? You're going to pull up a photo for us. So how many of you have a person? You're here. This is 3 keys to walk through grief with grace. Some of you might be grieving marriages or houses or jobs you lost. How many of you are grieving human beings that have died? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So many of us are grieving particular people. So if you want to write their names in the chat, we can all just presence them here and honor them. Yeah, thank you, Kim, for raising your hand. Oh, is that you and Debbie? Thank you, Dan, for showing us that. Yeah. Meg's husband, Dan. Yeah. Dan's wife, Debbie, and Meg's husband, Dan. Kimmy, my dog, says Meg. My parents. Cosette and Kos. Hey, Paula, will you say their names for us so that I don't butcher them, please?
Josette et Caius.
Josette and Caius.
Mhm.
Thank you. My little sister, Melissa, or Clover. She liked to go by Clover. Thank you, Tracy, for bringing in Melissa. Your little sister, Clover. Deborah, bringing into the circle my partner, Alan, who passed at the end of July. Thank you, Deborah, bringing in Alan. Yeah. So let's just presence all that we cannot see, right? So I've been taught, right, and science is sort of catching up with traditional wisdom. Oh, thanks, Dan. Look at that picture. Wow. So science is catching up with traditional wisdom, right? The quantum physics and traditional wisdom are telling us the same truth and the same wisdom, that there is a pie of the universe. So if the universe were a pie, there's a tiny slice of what we can see and what we can know. It's like tiny slice, big pie, tiny slice. What we can know and understand and see with our senses is a little bit. Then there's the 90% that we can't see. And then we have all the stuff that we don't even know that we don't know, right? So what I love to do in my spiritual practice is just open up to all that we don't know, right? Which is why in some traditions it's called the great mystery, right? I don't even know what I don't know. And even my grandparents on my mom's side, who were scientists, paleontologists, editors, skeptics, they could get down with the, there's a lot we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So let's begin by settling into some stillness and some silence and just honoring all of these ancestors, the names that you named, who we cannot see, and all the supports that we cannot see, and all that we don't know, right? That might bring some love our way and nourish our hearts today. Okay. So let's rub our hands together and we'll settle in. Just feel the fact that you are alive, and you can consciously rub your hands together and feel heat and aliveness, that is true in this moment. Bring your hands apart. This is middle pillar mudra. It's a healing mudra. You soften your middle finger for the heart. This is for compassion. Bring the hands right in front of the belly. So I'm just bringing them down in front of your solar plexus. Keep them about shoulder width apart, so you can still feel that space between the hands. Let's close our eyes. Breathe. Just sensing whatever sensation you feel between your palms. Vibration, aliveness, temperature, whatever is there. And then sensing the space all around you. The air is alive. In yoga, they call it prana. It's this life force energy that is uprising and animating things, lifting us up with spirit as we breathe. Just sense into that. And as you notice your breath, feel how your breath is connected to the wind outside your window. Breathing in and breathing out. Bringing a hand to your heart and a hand to your belly. Maybe dropping your chin slightly to your chest. Feeling that back of the neck open. And as we breathe in and out, we offer up gratitude for this moment, being alive in our bodies. Sensing the heartbeat under your palm, feeling that you are alive, you have a heart and it is beating, in fact, right this moment. Without you having to think about it or do anything at all, there is a miracle of life happening right now inside your chest, this very moment. And then opening up to the mystery of how that can possibly be. Gently softening into curiosity. And then welcoming in all that we don't know, all that we don't see that supports us, that guides us, and that loves us. That may be Dan, James, Clover, Alan, all the names that you presenced today. Might be some great, great, great grandparents. Might be the highest self of your teacher, a lineage of teachings. Could be enlightened bodhisattvas, could be angels. Could be any being you acknowledge, feels resonant inside your heart. Just bowing down to any and all of those supports, all the ones you know about and all the ones you don't know about, gathering together at this moment in this circle. And then just trying on a gentle smile on your lips as a gesture, as a simple gesture of gratitude in this moment. Noticing what is there inside your heart, how you're feeling in this moment. And then asking yourself what you came here for today. What do you need today? What would you like to walk away with? Let that boil down to one word. And then whenever you're ready, just slowly, gently open your eyes. And I would love to hear in the chat how you're feeling. So if you had, when you checked in with your heart, was there an emotion there? Were you feeling neutral or peaceful, or was there sadness? Was there an emotion, and what was it? I'm curious to know that. So could you just type that in the chat? Or you can unmute yourself and share if you feel comfortable. I'd love to also hear your voice, so either way. Brandy's saying compassion. She was feeling peace. Any other feelings coming up that you're bringing to the table? And I did ask that after we did some gratitude and we did some breathing. So you might have felt something at the beginning of the call when you popped on. Like for me, I felt hot and I felt nervous. There's going to be a bunch of people I don't know maybe on this call. So I I get a little sweaty in my palms and my feet when I'm about to teach. So I might have checked in with sweaty and nervous at the beginning of the call. And then at the end of that meditation, I would have checked in with stillness. So Meg shared, thank you for sharing this, Meg. She struggled with distraction. Yes, we often struggle with distraction. Thank you for presencing that. But then I found calm. And said peaceful. Thank you. Anyone have any irritation or sadness or anger or emotions that we might not consider the, hope and sadness? Yeah, so that's interesting, Jackie. So Jackie shared after she became more relaxed, there was also sadness. So sometimes it's true, right? After we settle in and we relax and we breathe for a minute or two, we put our hand on our heart, we might notice, oh gosh, there's sadness in there when I really relax. Hope. Yeah, hope is the need. Yeah, that was what I was going to ask next. Thank you, Deborah, for bringing that. She felt centered and expansive was her feeling. And I would like to ask next, what was your need? So then I asked if you could boil down to one word why you're here. So all of you showed up to a masterclass called 3 Keys to Walk Through Grief with Grace. So I know that everyone on here is walking through some kind of grief. So what are you looking for when you came on? It's like, oh, there's going to be a key. I'm here because I need, what do you need? So Deborah was surprised by her need, and she said her need was hope. She is needing hope. The need that popped up for me was trust. Also, Brandy's saying she's coming for trust and peace. So there might be 2 or 3 words too. Sometimes it's good to get the one word, but sometimes there's more than one that pops in. Balance. Thank you, Maya Christine. She came here looking for balance. Kanti is saying freedom. Tracy, forgiveness. Paula, trusting the process. Thank you, Paula. So these are beautiful needs that you came with. So it's so good to know, right, at the beginning of something, well, why am I here? What am I here for? What do I need? And then when you name it, you go, oh, you know what? I'm needing to trust the process. Then when you say that out loud to yourself or to a group, then you go, okay, that's what I'm looking to walk away with. Then there's a higher chance that you might walk away trusting the process, right? When you know that at the beginning that you're looking to trust the process, then throughout the 3 things I'm about to teach you, they might settle into you in that way as trusting the process, right? And they might not, and you might not get what you came for, and that's okay too, right? I'm hoping, it is my wish and my hope that you get what you came for, and it helps me to know why you're here too, right? And it will change the direction of my course, as the person who's offering this, to know why you're here. So thank you all for sharing all of those things. So we're here for trusting the process. We're here for forgiveness. We're here for freedom. We're here for balance, peace, hope, all of those things, and anything that wasn't said. So we're here for all of those. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a few things, and I want to start out by, I went outside right before I turned my Zoom on. It really grounds me to go outside in nature and to put my bare feet on the bare earth and just feel the earth underneath me, holding me. And I offered up a few flowers as some flower offerings. And what came to me was that I needed to take this off my wall and hold it up. So I have 2 of these on my wall. They're little flying hearts. I got this when I was at a wedding in Mexico. And I think it's tin, and it's got a little place for a nail or a tack to put it on the wall. It's a flying heart. Is anyone familiar with this sort of icon of a heart with wings? You've seen it maybe in, in gift stores or in churches or something. Yeah, I got some nods. Okay. So the element that's in the heart is air. And it's interesting because air and fire are friends, right? You can't have warmth. You can't have a hearth fire. Now we have electricity, so we just pop our stove on, right? But before we had electricity, we had to have fires and you had to do things to make the fire go, right? So if you can think to maybe a camping moment or something, to make a fire go, what do you have to do? You need a spark, right? And you need to thank you. Yes, I had some visuals of like people fanning or blowing. So you need some sort of kindling, you need some sort of little sticks and leaves and things that are dry, right? Not wet, and you need to fan it, right? So you need wings, right? You need wings. So in the body, so if you were to put this onto your chest, kind of lay it right down on your chest, you have your physical heart, and then you have two lungs, right? You have a right lung and a left lung. Most of us have two working lungs, not all of us, right? But most of us have lungs that fan our heart. So I'm going to offer the first tool I'm going to offer you. What I want to teach you are things that you can try in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. So if you commit to yourself, I'm going to do a 10 or 11-minute practice, you could potentially do 1 to 3 things in that amount of time. Yeah. So I'm not going to give you anything super complex, but you can expand any of these to go for 30 minutes if you wanted to, right? If you have a meditation practice and I just give you one very simple breathing technique, you could sit there for a full hour and do that, right? But you don't have to jump, you can just do it in 3 minutes. Does that make sense? So we'll just keep it simple. So the first breath that I'm going to give you is simple. It's an ujjayi breath. So it's an ocean sounding breath. And this is fundamental breath in yoga. And it's called that because it sounds like the ocean. Okay. And we're going to practice it together. I'm going to teach it to you in the simplest way that I know how. And we'll try it together. And we'll practice it for 3 minutes and see how it makes us feel. Does that sound good? Is everybody open to trying something new? Okay, when I say that, I know that we've got a few people here that I've been working with for at least 3 or 6 months, and they have learned the Ujjayi breath. How many of you know what I'm talking about when I say ocean sounding breath? You've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, so Deborah, Angela, Meg, and Maya, Christine, and Diane, I know all of you guys know that because you work with me. Brandy's also a yoga practitioner, Kanti. Okay, so so this is not new for many of you, and for some of you it is brand new. So I'll teach it like it's brand new to you. And for those of you that know it already, just go along for the ride, okay? So I want you to inhale through your nostrils, okay? Very important that you're gonna breathe in through your nose. So your nose has all of this whole inner filtration system, and it's like a shell in there. Okay, so it does all these things to clean your breath when you breathe in and out through your nose. It's like your N95 mask, but inside your head when you breathe in through your nose. So you're going to inhale through your nose. So let's all try that. Now try this. Put your hand in front of your mouth and make a HA sound, like you're fogging up a window in the winter. So go. So it's quiet, right? You don't have to make a ton of noise, but it's like, can you imagine that, like a car window when it's 25 degrees Fahrenheit out and it's icy, and when you put your mouth up against the window, it makes that fog. Can you picture that? Let's just do that 2 more times. Inhale through your nose. Put your hand up and feel the warmth of your breath and go. Now, one more time. Take your hand down this time. Make the same sound, but with your lips closed. And can you hear how that sounds a little bit like the ocean when you close your mouth and you don't let the ha come out, you keep it inside. So it's like a conch shell. Have you ever listened, like a kid listening to the conch shell, and you hear the ocean right in the shell? So that's the sound that we're going to make for this ocean sounding breath. Okay. So I am going to set a timer for 3 minutes, and we're going to practice an ocean sounding breath together for 3 minutes. Okay. Before we do that, I want to teach you one more thing. Are you up for learning a mudra? So mudras are ways that we can work with the subtle energy of our body consciously. So we have energy moving through our body. This is no longer woo-woo. Everybody acknowledges that the universe is vibratory, that energy does flow, right? The science is telling us, yes, this is true. We go to acupuncture, right? We have acupuncture needles that help open up the energetic channels in our body. We have our nervous system, our blood, our veins all run through channels, right? So we have 10 major energy lines in the body that run out, the 10 fingers and the 10 toes. Okay, we've got 3 major channels in our body, run up the Sushumna Nadi, the Ida and the Pingala Nadi. That's the main channel in the spine, the right and left sides of the spine. When we breathe and we do alternate nostril breathing, which I can teach you some other time, you're consciously moving the breath through those 2 channels back and forth to create balance, right? So when we work with our hands and we put our hands into different mudras, the golden triangle, the Gyan mudra, we just learned middle pillar mudra at the very beginning for our grounding breath, right? So this is a mudra. So mudras are powerful to shift the subtle energy in the body. And there are different mudras for different things. I'm going to be teaching in my Transform Your Grief program, the next 6 months, we're going to be learning 24 mudras, okay, that you can practice when you need them. So over the course of 6 months, there'll be 24 different mudras. Some of these mudras are simple, some are a little more complex. So there's a mudra for the lymph system. There's a mudra for the reproductive system. I did the reproductive system mudra every day for 11 minutes for 120 days to heal my cervix when I was experiencing cancer in my cervix, pre-cancer in my cervix. So I healed my own cervix doing this mudra and these mantras. You know, I was going into a specialist and I had my doctor was like very concerned and I've got to get you in ASAP for the specialist. And I ended up, the story is kind of great, giving myself a 120-day practice. And when I had to go into the cancer specialist that day, I felt really nervous because I was like, I only had 30 days. I'm not ready to go in yet. I haven't been able to do this work long enough. They called, they said, oh my goodness, we had this wacky power outage. We don't know why the power went out in the building, but we have to reschedule you. So they rescheduled me and I had more time to do the reproductive mudra. And when I went in for my next appointment, they said, oh, I would have no clue that you had anything wrong with your cervix. It looks beautiful. I don't know why they sent you in. So, you know, it is my experience in my life that these mudras are powerful. So all the different systems have different mudras. So I wanted to focus on heart health, maybe because I knew Dan was coming and his chest was tight, and that's why it said do heart health today. And I'm going to teach you a mudra called the Healthy Heart Mudra. And a few of you know this mudra already, but probably not as many people that know ocean sounding breath. So I want to teach it to you so you can try it. And we're going to put the 2 together. Okay, so we'll do our 3 minutes of ocean sounding breath while we hold, instead of putting our hands on our heart and a hand on our belly, which is often how I lead breath work, we're going to do the mudra. Yeah, you want to try it? You want to learn it? Thumbs up. Okay, so this mudra is great for your physical heart. So if you're feeling like, gosh, my physical heart I'm challenged, I have, personally, I have a lot of heart issues in my family, heart attacks, heart disease. So it's one that's good for me to do. It's good for the emotional heart. So if you're going through some kind of heartbreak, if your heart is feeling heavy, sad, you're feeling tightness in your chest because of grief, this is a great one to do. Okay, so it does, whether it's your physical heart or your emotional heart. This is how it looks. You're going to take your first finger and you're going to touch the base of your thumb. Yeah, so you're making a little circle, right? And you can try it with both hands. We're going to do it with both hands. So you got two hands. Yep. Then you're going to take your middle finger and touch the tip of your thumb. Yep. Then you add your ring finger to your middle finger. So you got two fingers touching the tip of your thumb. And then your pinky finger's left and it's going to stick straight up. And that might be challenging for some of you. For me, for a while when I learned it, the pinky finger didn't want to go straight up. I had to like kind of encourage it to go straight up. The other thing that might happen is this might turn into like looking like a finger puppet. The circle might collapse. So see if you can poof your circle up so you have a really round circle instead of a squished shape. Yeah? So you might want to do one hand at a time and like help your fingers into that round shape. It looks like everybody's got it that I can see on video. Yeah? Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the two fingers. See if you can get those pinky fingers straight, Paula. I know it's tricky, huh? Yes, there you go. That one finger's like, rah, rah. All right, now take a look at your hands. Doesn't it look like the valves of a heart? Have you seen a photo of the physical heart? How it's got the different ventricles and yeah, blood moving in and out, the arteries and the veins. Yeah, pretty cool, right? So we can try that either here. You can hold it by your sides with the pinky finger straight up, or you can place your hands in your lap, like one on each knee. So just decide what feels best for you right now. Do you want to have your hands kind of up in the air, pinky fingers going straight up? See if you can get those pinkies straight, Diane. Gah, I know it's tricky. Or you can go down. So we're holding this mudra a little longer because I just taught it to you and now we're going to breathe for 3 minutes. So you probably will have this mudra for about 5 minutes, yeah? So find a place that feels comfortable. Lean your spine a little bit forward and back or move your spine around a little bit because we're going to be still for 3 more minutes. So just wiggle your spine, wiggle your body, maybe circle your neck out a little bit. Just move a little bit so that you feel like you can arrive at a tall, comfortable spine. Yeah? Okay, you ready? 3 minutes? All right, so find yourself in a comfortable position. Allow your eyes to close if that feels safe and good to you. Let your tongue rest behind the top row of teeth where the roof of the mouth meets the back of your top row of teeth. And then you're going to inhale slowly through your nose like you're sipping in your favorite tropical juice. Nice and slow, long breath through the nose. Keeping the lips closed, make that gentle ha sound inside, ocean sounding breath. And then repeat, breathing in at your own time, nice slow breath. And out. Sometimes I count to 4 slowly as I inhale. And slowly as I exhale. You can also begin to hear that gentle ha sound on the inhale. So you're hearing that sound as you inhale through the nose. And as you exhale through the nose. If you're a visual person, you can imagine yourself sitting by the sea, by the ocean waves. Just gently listening to the ocean sound of your own breath. Taking one more full, slow breath. That was 3 minutes. After you exhale all the way, keep the mudra, keep the mudra. Just slowly let go of the ocean sounding breath and gently open your eyes, taking in the color and the light around you, seeing what is in front of you. And we're going to keep this mudra, and I want to do one more thing with the mudra. Okay, I want to allow this to be a moving mudra. You're going to do a healing act for your heart. And that is you're going to fan your own heart. So, you know, the heart with the wings, right? We're going to give our heart a little energy by fanning our own heart. And we're going to try it with the mudra since we still have it. So you just bring your hands. So you can't see my whole screen here, but I'm going to bring my hands down by my sides a little bit. So my elbows are almost straight. And then I'm going to bend one elbow and bring that mudra in towards my heart. So my palm is facing inward and I'm not touching my heart. I'm not touching my chest. I'm like 3 inches away from my body. Yeah. And then you're going to switch really slowly. It's like a dance. It's a very slow dance. Then the other mudra comes in towards the heart. And then switch. So we're fanning the heart with our hands. Yeah. Just find a rhythm that feels good to you. So this could be fast or it could be extremely slow. So just feel the rhythm of your body in this moment, like what feels good to you. And just settle into some rhythmic movement of fanning your heart with the Healthy Heart Mudra. Now, I would recommend, now you know what you're doing, right? It's not too complicated. Everybody's got this, yeah? Maya Christine, how you doing? I'm not going to give you complex things. You're just going to do your own rhythm of your own of your own hands, right and left. And then if you feel good about closing your eyes, so you can just feel what's happening inside while you do this, close your eyes and go back to that ocean sounding breath. And we're just going to do this for 1 more minute. You set a timer for 1 minute and you just ocean sounding breath with this fanning motion. 1 minute. And then just come to stillness, however your body wants to be still. And notice how you feel. So just pause and feel. Feel your breath. Feel your hands. Notice the sensation in your hands. Is there any sensation? What does it feel like? And then slowly, gently release the mudra and come back to middle pillar. Middle pillar mudra we did at the beginning. Soft fingers, extra soft middle finger, right in front of your belly. So bring your hands down a little bit, but keep them apart a little more, Dan. So they're still like elbow width apart. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Close your eyes and feel how middle pillar mudra feels now. And then you're going to give this energy to yourself. That from that middle pillar, turn and bring one hand to your heart, but don't touch your body. Keep it a little bit away from your body. Still soft fingers, so maybe 3 or 4 inches away from your body. And then the other hand is down by my belly. So it's hand on heart, hand on belly mudra, but you're not actually on your heart and your belly. You're a little bit away from the body. So test out how much space you want away from the body, what feels good. Close your eyes and feel. You can feel a current between your palms and your body. And then relax your hands down in your lap. And slowly, gently open your eyes. We'll come together. Just kind of look into the camera, maybe do a wiggle, wiggle out. Yeah, Paula needs to wiggle a little bit. Shake your hands a little bit. Let's do this. Sometimes it's good after you do all that stuff is to stretch your arms up high. Take a big, deep inhale. A little more inhale. A little more inhale. A little more inhale. And then for absolutely no reason at all, bust out laughing. And shake your hands out. You can laugh for no reason at all sometimes, just to do it. Just to ha ha. Okay, good. So I'd love to hear, you can unmute yourself and share. That would be my preference at this point, but you can also share in the chat. What did that feel like? You can let us know, what did the mudra feel like? Did you feel energy in your hands at all? Was there tingling? Was it hard? Was it easy? You know, how was that for you? I just love to hear.
I felt like it was breathing in. I was breathing in with my hands and my chest and belly, like it was being breathed into.
Like you were being breathed into.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks, Diane. Who else?
I've been having trouble sleeping at night, so I have a YouTube video of the ocean, and I'm hearing the same sound, making that ocean sound. It sounds just like I go to sleep to now.
Yes. Beautiful. So if you were ever away from your device now, and you didn't, or your internet went down or something, and you can't connect to YouTube, now you can do it all on your own.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Very fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Dan. Did it feel calming to you, sort of like that effect of putting you to rest?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Thank you, Dan. Anyone else want to share? Yeah, Meg.
Just to follow along with Dan, I started to visualize that when I breathed in, it's like, you know, when the waves pull back. And then when I breathed out, it's like when they come crashing forward. And there's that sense of release and freedom. So I visualized the actual waves along with the sound. And that was very intoxicating.
Intoxicating. I love that word. Just visualizing the waves and having that tide, right, come in and out and feeling that connected to your breath. Beautiful. Thank you, Meg, for sharing that. Anyone else want to share? Yes, Angela.
It felt very balancing to me because coming in, I just felt so like sleepy and just kind of a mix of emotions. So I just kind of felt like the right and the left side kind of balancing out. And that helps me actually not feel so sleepy. So I think I needed that balancing of left and right. And then at the very end, you know, with the heart, the hand over the heart and the belly, I just felt like those currents were very warm coming from my hands, which felt really great because it felt like I had really moved things.
Mm, beautiful. You could feel that current from your hand to your body. Yeah, and sometimes when we do something like this for ourselves, it is so balancing and we get what we need. You know, sometimes we're sleepy and we need energy. That's what we get. It's like a adaptogen, you know. And if we're like too anxious and we're up here and we're like vibrating super fast and we need to come down, it'll bring us down, like Dan said, to rest. Okay, now I'm down here, right? Or if we're down here, we're depressed, we're too sludgy, it'll lift us up a little bit. So beautiful that that was your experience. Anyone else want to share how that mudra felt or what you felt in your body at all?
For me, it was a bit of electricity and then heat.
Mm.
So I guess the current.
Electricity and heat. Thank you. Yes, we are electric beings, right? You know, it's just like the earth has a polarity, just like a battery, right? Positive, negative poles, our body, same thing. So we are, you know, we are alive electricity. So it's great when you feel it. Thank you for that, Paula. Yeah, and Dan, go ahead.
So this might sound weird, but I brought my wife home Christmas Eve and she passed 5 days later. And I'm going to try this sitting in that same spot where she was when she drew her last breath. I stand there sometimes where she left me.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you, Dan, for sharing that with us. And thank you for your vulnerability, bringing your heart here today. And I love that you're going to try this in that spot. And it's a beautiful way to honor yourself and to honor your wife and to honor that experience of her death and where she died in honoring of that in this way. Thank you. Yeah. So it's a beautiful segue because I want to teach you one more thing. So for those of you that really enjoyed that mudra, you can try it every day. You can give it a try. You can hold it still or you can move with it. And if you want, you know, so I'm a dancer, that's my background. Growing up, I was a dancer, I was in theater. I danced with a contemporary modern dance theater company. So for me, if I was standing outside, I might end up, you know, moving with this mudra in a bigger way. Like I could keep the mudra and dance. If you've ever seen, I practiced hula for a while, and I've dabbled in a little bit of traditional, different traditional dances, right? Where the hands really are used in very specific ways, right? So you could move bigger if you could move bigger than just this. We just did a little fanning of the heart, but it could turn into a big movement. You could keep the mudra and move, right? That might be something Meg wants to do. Meg is also a dancer. So I just wanted to voice that. And you don't have to be a dancer to dance, right? You can just stand up and move and just let your body be moved. And that's something that I want to speak to. That's something I believe in very strongly. I stand for the balance between structure and flow. So when we get too structured, there can be rigidity, right? And there's not a lot of inspiration. There's not a lot of creativity. There's not a lot of room for that, all the things we don't know, right? Because we're like, I know what it is. I go to church, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And sometimes that's great because we're like, now I can settle into, I know what it is. You know, my toothbrush is here, my floss is there. Like we need regularity is good. But then we also need some space for something new to come in, right? So sometimes it's good to give yourself a, so for me, it's like the structure might be the time of day and the amount of time. You might say every morning when I wake up, I'm going to set my alarm for 11 minutes because that feels like not too much. And I'm going to light a candle and I'm going to try this mudra and I'm going to do ocean sounding breath for 11 minutes. You know, you could give yourself that assignment. And then some days you might try it standing. Sometimes you might try it sitting. Sometimes you might try it fanning. Sometimes you might try it dancing and let your body move. Sometimes you might try it with your legs far apart, you know, in a yoga pose, right? Standing with your feet far apart or sitting with your legs out wide, right? You could try it in different ways so that there's a balance between now this is what I'm going to do and then how I'm going to do it. I might like let that shift around a little bit, you know? So I just putting it out there. So I want to teach you one other practice. So you can take one or the other of these or all three of these. You could do ocean sounding breath all by itself, lying down, sitting up, standing, walking. You can do the healing, the healthy heart mudra by itself. Or what we did is we combined the healthy heart mudra with the ocean sounding breath. We put them together and then we added some movement, right? We listened to the sound of the breath. So these are all healing things. We use breath, we use sound, and we use movement. And that is a healing trifecta right there. And that is what I teach, to do those three things. And it could be different. The breath could be alternate nostril breath. The breath could be, you know, all kinds of different breath. The sound could be, you know, making loud, you know, guttural sounds. Doesn't have to be that quiet ocean sounding breath. The movement could be chopping or shaking, but combining some kind of breath, some kind of sound, some kind of movement that moves the energy of grief through the body. And that way stuff doesn't get stuck in the chest and the heart. That is healthy heart care right there. Does that make sense? Great. Okay, so speaking of movement, I'm getting kind of stiff because I've been sitting at this computer for almost 75 minutes. So I want to take 1 minute to move. So I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute and you can do this with me. I'm going to shake for 1 minute. You can also shake for 1 minute. This is the magic pill that I do when I'm on too many Zoom calls all day. I'm sitting for too long. I'll do this for 3 minutes. We're just going to do one because I don't want to take too much time, but I'm going to shake my limbs. I like to do this lying down with my hands and feet up to the ceiling. I do this all the time, and I recommend that you try it anytime you feel stuck or stagnant. So you can stand up and do this. You can shake in your chair, but I'm just setting a timer for 1 minute and we're going to shake together. So just take your limbs and shake. So if you want to stay seated, just shake your hands out for 1 minute. Okay, we're at 55 seconds. You can stand and move your body around because you've been sitting. I'm going to lie down and I'm going to stick my legs up in the air like that. So you see my calves and my feet. And I'm just going to shake because I want to teach you one more thing and we're going to be sitting and I don't want you to be too stiff, right? Good, so Diane is doing Slappy Happy, which is another spiritual snack. Thank you for doing that, Diane. You can see what Diane's doing, but she is swinging her arms around her body. That's what she felt like doing. So just move your body for another 20 seconds, however you want to move. Just breathe and move. And if you want to make some sound also, you can make some sound. A little sigh, a little growl, a little laugh. Good, and that was 1 minute. So then stretch your feet, stretch your palms, stretch your body somehow. Big stretch, and then give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug wherever you are. I'm hugging my knees into my chest. You can wrap your arms around your body. Just give yourself a little gentleness. Okay, great. So was that too much information or should I teach one more thing? One more thing? Can you take in another thing? Okay, sometimes like you're on a call and after like an hour, it's like we go kind of blank, like I can't take in anymore. Okay, so we're gonna do one more thing. I am gonna teach you, and this is a very powerful healing mantra. So mantra, it means sound, okay? And it can be in any language. This particular mantra is, I believe, in Sanskrit, but it's just syllables, and it's 8 syllables together that create healing. Okay, and some of you know this already, and I'm going to teach it to you in a specific way. And Dan, thank you so much for bringing in your wife. And this is a practice that I'm going to teach you right now that I taught my dad this back in 2012. And he did this. This was his daily practice. He did this every day. And he did this when his lymph was filled, his legs were filled with lymph. He couldn't do much else. He couldn't go up the stairs anymore. He couldn't do any yoga other than lying down, pretty much. This is like the last month of his life. And he practiced this. So this is something you can do if you're exhausted, if you can't get yourself up even to upright to do anything. Okay, you can do this seated, standing, or lying down. My dad did it lying down. We're going to practice it seated. And we're going to activate. So I taught you this healthy heart mudra, right? We're going to activate all of the meridians in the body that go out the 10 fingers. And each one of these is connected to an element and to organs and all the whole thing, right? So when we activate our hands, right, it affects everything, right? What we do here affects the rest of us. So we're going to pair some breath with this simple movement, and it looks like this. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to touch your first finger to your thumb. Simple, right? Then touch your thumb to your middle finger. So you move one finger over, then to your ring finger, then to your pinky finger. That's it. Then you start again. First finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, right? Great. And again, so you can count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to inhale for 4. So you're going to inhale, keep inhaling, keep inhaling, keep inhaling. Now we're going to exhale for 8. Exhale, 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 exhale. Keep exhaling, exhale, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. So our exhale, so I'll pause for a second. So we're going to use our fingers to count, but we're also engaging all of those energy systems of the body, right? So we're going to inhale for 4. Before we did a even inhale with the ocean sounding breath, even exhale. Now we're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 8. So our exhale is going to be twice as long as our inhale. When we're anxious, when we're worried, when our heart is stressed out, if we exhale twice as long, it's going to bring us to calm. So if you have any anxiety, any tightness in your chest, any worry stuck in here, you do this and it's going to help you calm down and find peace. So for those of you saying, I'm looking for balance, I'm looking for peace, this will likely bring you there. Yeah? So you want to try it? So I'm gonna lead it, but if your breath is a little bit slower than mine or a little bit faster, I'll let you do it at your own pace. Does that make sense? I'm going to hold my fingers up here so you can see, but you can put your hands on your knees. You don't have to hold them up to the screen. Okay, does that sound good? So we're just going to start with breath. Ready? So find your comfortable spot. And we're going to inhale, 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 and exhale. Keep exhaling. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. Go at your own pace. And your pace might slow down a little bit. So you just follow what your body needs. And the next time you finish your exhale, you're going to gently let go of the counting and the fingers. Let your hands rest in your lap and notice how you feel. How was that for you? Just give me a word, maybe in the chat. I got a thumbs up. You can unmute yourself and give us a word or two, or type a word or two into the chat. Loosening. Ah, my chest loosened up. Thank you, Jackie. It was relaxing for Dan. Calming, loosening. So we got 2 loosenings. Relaxing, relaxation, happy. We got a happy. So that is a technique of counting with the breath. 4 and 8, those are grounding, healing numbers. And you're gonna exhale twice as long as your inhale. Yeah? Great. So I'm gonna keep going we're gonna keep going, but I wanna just share a couple of things with you and talk. And then at the end, I'm gonna give you that exercise again with the mantra. Okay, so if the mantra is confusing at the end, I wanted to just give you that piece so that it wasn't too confusing, right? So it's just the breath with the fingers, using your fingers to count. Know that this is therapeutic, that the numbers have meaning, that you're activating all of your, all of the elements and all of the organs by doing this with the fingers. That was very healing for my dad the last weeks of his life when he couldn't do much else. He was doing this. So it's very helpful when you need to go to sleep. Can you imagine doing that in bed? Like if you're having some anxiety or worry or insomnia, just lying down. So you're just lying down. You could do it with one hand or both and help you to calm the body down before bed. Yeah? Any of you have any problems sleeping right now? Yes, we got 1 yes. 2 yeses, few yeses. So if you're having a problem sleeping, could you imagine yourself trying that with some ocean sounding breath to calm yourself down at night? For those of you that said yes, you're nodding yes. Yeah, so you could give that a try. So I just gave you some different things. You could build your own morning practice and evening practice with what I just gave you, right? In the morning, I like to light a candle. It's universal. It reminds me of my spirit by lighting a candle. It's a ritual that I love. So I have a ton of little tea light candles. I have an altar space. You don't have to have a big altar space, but I like the lighting of a candle because it says I'm going to do this now. You know, it kind of gives this container to it. So I like lighting a candle. Then I recommend setting a timer. Okay, how many of you could get down that? So some of you already have practices and some of you don't. How many of you might be down for committing, trying for the next 3 days, lighting a candle and doing at least 3 minutes first thing in the morning of something I just taught you? Anybody? Paula's like, her eyes went to the side, maybe. Okay, we got a yes, 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 maybe yes. Okay, so this is up to, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just debating everything I can do while I'm still in bed and waking up and thinking and integrating and everything else. But it's just like, but getting up to light my candle?
Ah, right. Yes.
That was
So-
just that for me.
Great. I love that you brought that up. I saw that in your eyes because her eyes went off to the right. She was like, I have to get up and light a candle. So you don't have to get up and light a candle. I will do that sometimes, especially if I'm at the beginning of my cycle and I'm feeling super heavy. Sometimes I'll go get it when I get up to pee, I'll light my candle and then I lie back down because I have to get up to pee, right? It's like in the morning. So I'll light my candle and I'll go, there are a couple days of the month where I won't sit to do a practice. I won't stand to do it. I'll get back into bed and I'll do Supta Baddha Konasana. For those of you that know what that is in yoga, it's your soles of your feet are together, your knees are out in like a little triangle pose. I put my hand on my belly. I close my eyes. I set my timer for 30 minutes and my practice is lying down for an extra 30 minutes. That's what it is. Your practice doesn't have to involve a candle at all. You could be like, I like that, but I'm not doing the candle. Great. Sometimes having the timer is helpful because you're like, I'm going to put that on my time. When the timer goes off, I'm off the hook. Right. And also my life is waiting. I got all this stuff to do. When I have a timer, I'm like, okay, life can wait for 11 minutes. Life can wait for 30 minutes. Life can wait for 3 minutes, whatever it is. So sometimes just having that timer just tells your body, you know what, you can relax. You got this little bit of time. You know, social media can wait. I don't need to know what's happening in the world yet. My emails can wait, you know. So that's what I'm gonna recommend that you all try. So I would love to hear back from you if you're like gonna commit to, okay, for the next 3 days, I'm gonna try this in the morning. So type in the chat what you might want to try. Type in the chat how many minutes. I want to know that. 3, I'm going to give you options. 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 11 minutes, or 15 minutes. Let me give you those options. 3, 7, 11, or 15. 7. Paula says 7, 7. Dan says 11. 3. Thank you, Ellen. Jackie says 3. 3 minutes is easy, right? You could do anything for 3 minutes, right? 3. Thank you. Kanti, 3. 3 for me. Deborah, 3 for Diane. Fantastic. Fantastic. It's like the wisdom of, you know, if you don't floss your teeth and you want to start, I heard it. There was a TED talk and he said, you know, just floss one tooth. One tooth. And then after a few days you get floss 2 teeth. And then you build up to 3 teeth and then you're flossing your whole mouth, but you don't just start with 1. So I love that you guys are saying 3 minutes. Yeah, floss the ones you want to keep, Dan. Yes, floss the teeth you want to keep. That's perfect. That is perfect. That is perfect. So so what I want to offer up to those of you that are here, I want to share this first, and then I'm going to teach the healing mantra to all of you at the end. But what I want to give you, because I know some of you are going to need to get off at 90 minutes, some of you can stay for the full 2 hours. So I want to offer each of you, if you want to hop on the phone with me, I have my next 6-month Transform Your Grief group immersion program starting on Friday. And several of you that are live on this call are already in that program and you're already there. There are a couple of you that might want to join that program that are on the call right now and you're not sure you're going to maybe commit in the next couple of days. And there's some of you that just hopped on today and you don't know me from anyone. You're just coming on here for this thing. So what I want to say is if you haven't had a call with me, I'm offering for this week, I have time over the next 4 days where I have 30-minute slots on my calendar. And if you haven't talked to me, I'm gonna suggest you hop on. Caitlin, can you pop my calendar link in the chat? So you can copy and paste this from the chat. I will also email it to you, but you can even click it right now while I'm blah, 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 blahing. And it takes you to my calendar. And what you can do is there's 30-minute slots on my calendar. I can chat with you and offer you up 2 things. The first thing is we can just get to know each other because this was not enough time for me to hear. I mean, we put stuff in the chat, but was not enough time for us to share. We can get on, you can share with me what's going on with you in your loss and your grief, and I can help you create whatever your next step is for your practice. So I know a lot of you are committing to 3 minutes, 7 minutes. I just taught you some tools. You might have something specific going on, you know, with lymphedema, with cancer, with a family member, with whatever's happening for you. I can hear what's going on for you for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I can offer you up a specific thing for you, for your personal practice, okay, to try. Maybe you have a practice, but you're like, this is happening in my life. I can teach you a mudra or give you something for yourself. Then we can also chat if you're needing more support, you're on this call, maybe you have a bereavement group, maybe you have a therapist, maybe you have something in your life that's supporting you and you're good. Maybe you need more support. And if you are looking for a community, if you're looking for some more support, we have a few spots left in this 6-month container that starts on Friday. So I'm just, it's open for another little bit for those people who might want support. And I want to chat with you one-on-one to know if it's a good fit. Because it might be a great fit, but now might not be the time, or, you know, it might not be the best fit, or it might be the perfect fit in the world. I can tell you more about that program on the phone call. So, so for those of you that don't know me, feel free to copy that link and hop in my book so we can chat. Because I know that there's some of you I don't know at all. I don't know you, Ellen Bush. I don't know. I just met you, Kanthi, on Saturday. I'm so glad that you hopped on today. Dan and I don't know each other. Jackie and I don't know each other. Tracy and I are talking tomorrow. So feel free to go and do that. And if you're listening to this recording, I will put the link underneath the video so you can click it if you're watching me not live, because a bunch of you are watching me tomorrow. So isn't that weird how you could do that? You can record yourself today and then people are listening to it tomorrow. Isn't that, I mean, it's just a miracle. It's just a miracle. So, so I wanted to share that. And I thought I would just open the floor because I know a couple of you are thinking about joining, and, you know, we might need to have another phone call tomorrow or the next day. And I have 1, 2, 3, 5 of the folks on the call. Would you guys just raise your hand who just went through this past 6 months with me, this Transform Your Grief? So we have Maya Christina's on here. Meg's been with me for a few months. Deborah, Angela, Diane have all been doing this program since January. And so I just want to open the floor to any of you guys that might want to share, for those people who are like, I think I need support, but I'm not sure if this is the right thing or the right fit for me. I'd love to just hear, Deborah, do you want to share a few words of kind of where you were when we met back? Deborah and I met, I think, in October or November or something, and she was had a foot thing going on. She was not able to walk so great. She was grieving, and I'd love to just hear kind of where you were at the end of last year before you joined in January, and just what this Transform Your Grief container did for you. Are you up for sharing a little bit? Okay, great, thanks.
Hey everybody, good to see you all. I would highly encourage everyone to consider joining Jen's group. It has been truly transformational for me. Just sort of things that I'd known about, I now practice in a way that I've never done before in all the decades of being on this planet. Just really falling in love with the breath and movement and sound in ways that I hadn't before, and that are going to stick with me always. You know, I have a movement practice now. I like the term movement better than exercise, I think. That is daily and sustaining, and just the sense of having those tools in my toolkit, those spiritual snacks, those practices that we can use. Sometimes they're just a little refresh in the middle of the day. Sometimes they're a longer session, and just to have those tucked away for when I need them has really been amazing. And relationships within the group have been wonderful too. Just getting to know people from different parts of the country, different parts of the world that have also been traveling this path of grief, and getting to know each other and learning the things that have worked for other people, trying those out, and feeling supported in making changes and moving forward. Yeah. So very, very, very appreciative, very grateful, and highly recommend.
Mm. Thanks for sharing, Deborah. Yeah, I'm really, really grateful for your presence. And I just want to speak to what you just shared about the movement, how you're really grounding breath and sound and movement in a way that you hadn't before. Like, it's like a lot of times we know what we quote unquote should do. Like, oh, I know I should do that thing I learned, right? And there's like, knowledge is a dime a dozen. We can get on any workshop. We can Google stuff online, and it tells us, here you go. Here's what you should do. You should do this stretch. You should do this breath. You should do this. And it's like, great, yeah, sure. But it's actually having the container to be supported in doing it, right? Who said, I think Dr. Brandy had said, like, yeah, it works when I do it. It doesn't work when I don't do it, right? So thank you for sharing that. It's that now you're really doing it in a new way. Because, what I want to speak to is that one thing we do in this program is we use story medicine for healing, right? That's the beauty and the magic of a sharing circle, right? If we had more time on this call, our calls in the program are 2.5 hours because we need time to be able to share and give everybody an opportunity to take the floor and share their story if they want, right? There's never ever forced to share. But stories, they don't just live in the head, right? Like when we go to psychotherapy or, therapy, bereavement groups, often we're talking about our story. I have this person I loved and they died, and I'm going to share the story. And that is so important to be able to share. You're seen, you're heard, you're witnessed. Sometimes you're understood, right? When it's good, when people are like, oh, I get you, that's very healing. So it's important, but story also lives in our body, right? Story gets stuck in our body. That's what I learned through Cherokee Bodywork, is that as we work on different parts of the body, stories come out that we forgot. They're like stuck in the body. They live in the body. So when we start moving the body, we're unearthing story. Stories live in the dream world, right? In the subconscious. For those of you that are dreamers, a lot of you said you do dream journaling. When we start being in reciprocal relationship with the unconscious world, that's like a way to tap into spirit, right? Divinity, great spirit, whatever you call that, by listening to the dreams and like saying, okay, I got this dream. Now I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna remember, and I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna give it some of my attention. Then I can start gleaning some wisdom in a not so logical way, right? And stories live in the collective. They live in the collective swarm, of stories, all the stories that have ever been told. So that's one really important aspect, right? I think of any program, and if my program's not a great fit for you, finding some place where you can share your stories is really beautiful. And then also the story medicine of telling, then retelling. And you can change and find a new perspective that is healing when you retell your story in different ways, right? Then you're not stuck. Because what I noticed in one of my bereavement groups that I used to attend weekly, people have been there for 8 years, telling the same old story, feeling stuck, feeling like they were suffering and they were in pain in their bodies, and they were not getting massage, they were not moving, they were not dancing, right? They were not doing any movement practice, and they were really stuck in that story. So it's like, so we have to go more than just up here. We have to go more than just up here. So that's what we do. And we also really tap into, that when we tap into that power of being seen and heard and understood, we can start developing peace and clarity that's really true self-compassion. It's like really real gentleness with our own self. Because sometimes we can caregive for all these other people, but we're not necessarily super gentle with ourself. So really developing that first for us, and then it can go out. And then when we develop, so it seems really simple what I'm asking you to do right now. Like, okay, commit to for the next 3 days, 3 minutes of this one little thing, right? It seems so, and we actually do it, and we show up for ourselves regularly for whatever that ritual is that is self-nurturing, like a self-nurturing ritual, week to week, right? We are going to access some intuitive wisdom. We're going to find what we need to find from the inside out, you know, and that is really powerful because, you know, people can tell us the answer, like, you know, blah, 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 you should do X, Y, Z. It's like this, A, B, C. But when we have a practice, we find those things out for ourselves. It comes from the inside out, which I think is beautiful. And that's what I really stand for, empowering people to do. I don't have to come up here and tell you, well, I'm some grief expert and you should know this and you should do this. It's like, no, like let's all do our own practice in our own way. And then we're all going to come up with that wisdom from the inside. And then when we share, we get that wisdom from each other, and then we can take that away and we can weave it into our own lives. And then it's really beautiful that way. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, Deborah. And then what happens, the one other thing I just want to speak to before I share this last piece, and I don't want to go over, so what time is it? Oh, good, I've got time. The other thing that I want to speak to is that when we lean into our grief and our loss, and we're vulnerable, and we start sharing and we start moving the energy, we start doing these breath, sound, movement things, we start sharing with our voices to other people, it may seem, oh, this feels like, this is hard, this is dark, this is sad, there's like crap, it's sludgy stuff that I don't really like, I don't really wanna. And people say to me, isn't that really dark? Like you're doing this grief work, it's 6-month grief program, that sounds really hard, or really what? I said, oh, actually it's not. When we start moving the energy of grief and we start moving, I see grief as a transformational healing process. When we start going on that journey, we open up the energy to flow. It's not just grief and sadness and anger that moves, everything else moves too. Then the joy can move. It's like a dammed river that was dammed up. You take the dam away, then everything's moving. First, it might be sludgy, right? Because there's been a dam there for 30 years or something. So you destroy, and it's like, lightens my heart. Have you seen those videos of some dams coming down in places when they like are taking the dams down and the rivers get to flow again? I saw one video on social media of them taking a dam down somewhere in, like, I think it was in Canada, and I was bawling. I like was watching this dam being destroyed, and I started crying because the river was like free to go again. And that's what we start doing when we access our grief. Everything can flow, and what flows is creativity and gratitude and joy. And really it's about living, and it's about unconditional love is what it's about. So I'm like, grieving is actually about living. Yeah.
Can I just
you want to share? I was going to ask if
I just follow up on that because Dan, my husband died December 31st, 2020. So I think your wife and my husband died very close to the same time. And I was living in what I call the loss bucket. And now through all of this work, I'm living in what I call the love bucket. It's moving, this energy has transformed, as you were just saying, it's allowed joy to come back into my life. But the biggest thing, and you said it at the end, and I wasn't sure if you're going to get there, is that it brings forth the love in our heart, not only for our loved ones, but for living and for feeling alive and for loving the people we are with, but for also getting a deeper and more spiritual, beautiful, loving connection with the person that we've lost. So that's what all of this deep healing spiritual work has done for me.
Thank you, Meg, for sharing that. you. And before I say any more, I know Angela's on here too, and I had asked Angela if she wanted to share on here. What I love about our group is we have so many folks who are creatives, you know, theater people, writers, budding musicians, actual musicians, and what I've seen is like a lot of joy as the result of moving through grief. There's a lot of joy. We actually have a lot of fun and there's a lot of creativity that happens. So I asked Angela, I don't know if you want to speak to that at all. And at our last 3-day, we do 3-day virtual retreats every equinox and every solstice. And for our last 3-day retreat, we closed with a sharing where people shared, and there was some writing that happened. Meg offered up a dance that she created that was just filled with grace and beauty. And Angela offered up a song that I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most joyful theme song for a grief group. So I just wanted to kind of speak to that because, you know, when people are like, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to commit to a grief group for like so long, it's like, oh, it's actually, there's a lot of joy there. So do you want to share anything about that, Angela? And I don't know if you're up for sharing your song with us, but.
Oh, sure. I'd love to share. And, you know, as you were just saying, how, you know, sometimes people will ask you, you know, isn't that really difficult to lead a grief group? I was just thinking of sometimes how you describe how, you know, you can take your grief by the hand and kind of befriend it, you know, and so that doesn't sound scary or difficult. It's like, wow, if it's possible to take your grief by the hand and somehow, you know, walk along with it, there can definitely be some potential for, you know, that sort of curiosity and I don't know, if, peacefulness, creativity, just a lot of things. And so that just kind of popped into my head. Just wanted to share that before it flitted away. And I guess, oh gosh, you know, when I joined the group, I really was had this deep need to kind of reconnect with myself and like actually give myself some time, you know, time to be with myself. And then, you know, doing that and being very present with a group of people is just felt really good and very meaningful. Has felt very meaningful, and also that creativity that bubbles up, you know, when we're sharing together. It's for me, it's a really it's part of that healing process, and that could be you know, what we've learned in sort of using our voices in different ways to kind of vocalize different, like very natural kind of primordial sounds, and then you know, writing a song from it, just a very simple song, or you know, for me, one part of this that I really love is the dream dancing. So we kind of mentioned about like capturing dreams in a dream journal, but then there's this added layer of adding movement to those dreams and then interacting with other people and kind of like, I don't know, it's always felt very, very meaningful to share a dream with someone, at least one person, and just, you know, kind of unpack it. So that added layer of movement has been really beautiful for me. Yeah, I get so so much out of our time together. There's always like these gems that sort of come up, and they're very unique and personal. I feel like everyone, you know, sort of gets those different gems. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Angela. How about this? How about I teach this one last mantra, and then if you feel like closing us out with a song, you could close us out with your song. Do you want to do that?
I would definitely be up for that.
Let's do it that way. Let's
Yeah.
do it that way. So because it's like it's an upbeat celebration song, and I love it. So so let's finish with your celebration song, and I want to teach this one last piece that we're going to add to this counting, right? So we did it with just a count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So 4 inhale, 8 exhale. So we're going to inhale for 4, and then we can actually, there's a way that you can inhale that's a segmented breath where you go. So it's like 4 sniffs in, right? So I'm going to inhale, inhale more, inhale more, inhale more. And sometimes that helps to really fill the lungs up. And when the lungs fill up, they hug the heart, right? Because they fill not just out, but they fill into the heart. So when you inhale, 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 and your lungs expand, the heart gets a hug. Isn't that cool? And then when you exhale slowly, 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 the diaphragm softens, the diaphragm goes up, and the diaphragm hugs the heart from below, right? And then the lungs, they deflate and the heart gets space on the side. So the heart's beating for us all the time, right? And it gets hugged with every inhale by the lungs from the sides. And then every exhale, it gets hugged from below and gets space on the sides. So it's like spaciousness, hug. Then it gets hug, spaciousness, spaciousness, hug. Every time we breathe. So it's just something to think about. So when we really use our breath and we breathe in fully and we breathe out fully, our heart gets massaged. It's a way to give our heart kindness. It's a way to be gentle with ourselves. Isn't that beautiful? They're not just thinking, oh, I've got to breathe deeply because it's going to relax me. Like this is like, I'm giving my heart love back. It's sacred reciprocity with our own heart to breathe long and deep. So we're going to inhale 4 segments. And then we're going to exhale for 8, just like we did. But we're going to add an 8-part healing mantra. It's a Ramadasa mantra. And we're going to do the Ramadasa mantra on the exhale. And if this is too complex for you, you just do the counts. Drop the mantra, yeah? But for those of you that are into this, and some of you know this already, these are the first 4 syllables. Okay, so it's Ra. So repeat it after me. Ra. Ma. So Ra means sun. Yeah. Ma means moon. Ra. And if you can like roll your R, Ra, you can do a little roll. Ma, so that's sun, moon. That's like the masculine giving energy, the feminine receiving energy. Ra, ma. Da is the third one. Ra, ma, da. And da is the earth. Sa. Sa is infinity. So you got Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. Say it after me. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. Easy enough, right? Okay. Then the second half is you repeat Sa again. Starts off with infinity. Sa. Say. So, hung. Hung is like H-U-N-G, like hum, but with a little g at the end. Hung. Sa, say, so, hung. So if we put them together, looks like this. Ra, ma, da, sa. Can you see that? Is that flipped for you like a mirror, or you see it well? It's mirrored for me, but okay. Sa, say, so, hung. All right. So we're going to try that and I'll just say it. Yeah. For those of you that wanted to write it down, you write it down. I'm going to type it in the chat so you can see it in the chat. So that's 8 syllables. Ra, ma, da, sa. Sun, moon, earth, infinity. Infinity, that's what I am. So it's connecting you with the infinite, the macrocosm with the microcosm. All of the elements, the sun, the fire, the water, the earth. So it's infinity. So it's all the elements. All that is what I am, is basically what it's saying. So it's reconnecting you with the truth of who you are, which is infinite, which is all the elements, everything that's out there, also in here. That's why it's a healing mantra. Yeah. So let's try it for 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes to give it a shot. So I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, and we will do this just like we did it last time. But instead of counting to 8, I'm going to say the mantra. Okay. So we'll do 4 segmented inhales. Inhale, 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 inhale. And then on the exhale, I'm going to say ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung, right? And you can put your hands in your lap. You don't have to hold them up, but I'll hold them up. Sound good? Okay, rub your hands together. Last exercise for 3 minutes. And this you could do for forever, right? You could do this for a really long time, but 3 minutes is like, it's good enough, right? Okay. So here we go. If I set my timer here, I'll be honest with us. Okay, so here we go. So if you want to close your eyes, you can, and you can watch. We're going to inhale. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. You can say it with me. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Let's slow it down a little bit. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. 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 Now go on your own. You can go slower if you want. We can keep at this tempo. You can turn it into a little song in your head or aloud. And then the next time you exhale all the way, finishing the mantra, just pause. Bring your hands to your heart. Just notice how you feel. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. I feel so much gratitude for being able to share these tools for heart healing, the keys of breath and sound and movement to really move the energy that's stuck in the body, that gets held when we have a loss. We use those, and that will help us to transform that energy of grief into whatever is next. So we can be in the moment, can find some peace and freedom in this moment and step forward in a way that has some creativity, right? And some freshness and some new gust of unconditional love in it, right? So with that, if you would like to, I'm going to pass it over to Angela to close us out with a song. Before I do that, I'm going to ask Caitlin to pop my link in the chat one more time. So, so Dan or Ellen, I know Tracy, I'm already talking to you, Kanti, Dan, Ellen, and if you guys or anyone that's listening on the recording, if you want to hop on my calendar, I'd love to just get to know each of you a little bit and maybe personalize a little something for you. And whether or not you want to join the program, either way is totally fine. But I'd love to hop on and just meet you one-to-one would be really beautiful. So Caitlin's going to pop that in one more time. You can copy and paste it, and I'll make sure to put it in the email tonight. And I will send you all the recording of this so you can watch it again. It'll be active for, I think I said 24 hours. I might leave it up for 48, but it'll be on YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch this again to do any of the things, you can. And I'm also going to include, I have a PDF, I have a guide that goes through the ocean sounding breath and some of the things that we talked about today. So I'll put that PDF in also for all of you. Okay. So I'll send that email out probably in a couple of hours or so. Okay, so thank you all for coming. I really appreciate your hearts, your sharing, your participation, your willingness. Thank you for those of you that came on camera. I really appreciate you. I'm going to see many of you on Friday for the next start of the program. Thank you, Brandy. Yeah, so she said she's going to watch can't wait to watch the recording. So with that being said, I'm going to pass a talking stone over to Angela. She's going to close us out with a little fun song. Yes. Thanks, Angela.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen. It's been a really beautiful time together. And okay, so this song is, it came out from one of our guest teachers that did some songwriting with us. And so the song title is called Libre, which is free. And I'm bilingual English Spanish. So it just came to me in the Spanish lyrics first. So what I thought I would do is I'd give you the lyrics in English to begin, and I'll speak them, and then I'll sing you the Spanish, and you can kind of rock out with me. I've got a little shaker action. Okay. So free. I am free, the girl that I was, the woman today. And I'll include our men in here too. The boy that I was, the man of today. And then we are free, the girls of yesterday, the women of today. We are free, the boys of yesterday, the men of today. Talking, crying, meditating, playing, dreaming, dancing, healing. Oh, 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 I am free, the girl that I was, the woman of today, the boy that I was, the man of today. Okay, so I'll go ahead and
Angela, before you go in, I got talking, crying, meditating, praying.
playing, dreaming, dancing. Gotta have our dreaming and dancing in there.
Great, thank you. The girl,
The
boy that I
girl,
was yesterday, the woman I am today.
yeah, got it.
Great.
All right, here we go. Libre yo soy, niña que fui, mujer de hoy. Libre somos, niñas de ayer, mujeres de hoy. Platicando, llorando, meditando, jugando, soñando, bailando, sanando. Oh, 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 libre yo soy, niña que fui, mujer de hoy.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate your creativity and your willingness to share that song with us. We are free. Talking, crying, meditating, praying, dreaming, dancing, healing. I am free. The girl, boy that I was yesterday, the woman, man I am today. I love that. The lyrics are so beautiful. And I love it in the Spanish. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, each and every one of you. I know that we are now at our 2-hour mark, and I know that you all need to go sleep or eat or do whatever you need to go do. So thank you. I'll stop the recording and I will make sure to send it to all of you to watch over the next day or talk to you if I haven't already one-to-one over the phone this week. So many blessings, lots of love and healing to your heart. Yeah. Thank you, Ellen. Yes. Thank you for your time teaching in January. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Grateful for the mystery. Yeah, thank you, Diane.